The following is a transcript of a conversation between Matías De Stefano, referred to as me, and his higher self, referred to as I am. 22nd February, 2021, Mercury. Me. Today I woke up with tears in my eyes. What I explained yesterday became real in me. I dreamed of what my subconscious seems to yearn for, what my soul acclaims. It was a beautiful place, a valley like I had never seen before, where everything I like could be seen. Valleys, mountains, forests, rivers, and streams flowing into a sparkling sea in the distance, and in an extensive meadow, a house so beautiful that it gave warmth to my heart. I arrived flying, but with my own body, flapping with my arms as if I were a bird, dodging certain areas where bears could be seen. When I arrived, inside I felt at home, for the first time. I looked from the portico and took a deep breath, sighing, knowing that this was my place. When I went to the room to sleep, someone was there sleeping in my bed. I saw him, and even though I don't know him in my life, I knew he was the love of my life. I felt a little distant, for my consciousness saw him as a stranger. But I went to bed anyway. He hugged me from behind, wondering how I was doing. And in that instant I felt at home. We had breakfast together while he told me anecdotes, and we both laughed. For an instant I felt perfection. I felt that everything I had sought in my life was summed up in that image. As a commentator, I could say that everything was too bullfighting for my taste, the opposite of my idyllic life. And then my subconscious countered. Above the hills, a commando like the FBI or something appeared, and with weapons like arrows, they burst into this paradise, shooting to imprison us so effectively that in their first shot, they pierced my partner's chest, killing him in front of me. Suddenly I went into shock. I couldn't move, cornered against the wall, shaking. They started destroying the house, and so I decided to run. I escaped through the stream and flew through the forest, straight towards the bears, to protect me from that advancing squadron. I spent days trying to survive, but I lost the meaning of life. Everything I had ever sought was there, and it had been destroyed. It had been eliminated. There was no turning back. Then I hadn't felt trying to survive either. So I turned myself in, walking senselessly in front of the prison. They dressed me in a strange and solemn way and locked me in a windowless, very small cell with no bed or bathroom. There I sat while I watched more people get into the same space. I stood there in the shade of a corner and felt the strongest anguish I had ever experienced in a dream. And I cried. I couldn't stop crying. And in the same cry I woke up, my eyes and cheeks wet here and now. I am. What do you think the message was? Me. I don't know for sure. I realized that my soul expects something very different from what my body and spirit experience and yearn for. That this is my constant inner struggle. To recognize myself free without a fixed point, and at the same time what makes me feel calm is the idea of living a life that escapes me, that is not for me today. I am. Why do you think it's not for you? Me. My subconscious reminds me that it has come to face a struggle for freedom, that most people lose everything, that they feel imprisoned in a world of limitations, and that I feel the same. Our dreams are curtailed by forces that prevent things from happening as we expect them. Maybe my dream was too exaggerated to show me this duality. I feel that if I don't see that flip side of freedom and harmony, I wouldn't seek to find ways to free us all from that prison that we ourselves have gotten ourselves into. Well, I was the one who surrendered. I am. Your subconscious showed you today the two sides of yourself. Your partner is nothing more than that other part of you that you reject. the one that wants to live a quiet, normal life with no purpose but to enjoy. It is that affectionate, family, friendly part that embraces you after your travels, that awaits you in that place of beauty inside you. It is your own paradise where you find the true love of sharing with yourself. And it is your own mind that always seeks to destroy that idea. For perfection has no action, evolution, movement. Your being needs to run. It always seeks to create a conflict with the aim of feeling alive, feeling useful. The adventure nourishes that part of you that constantly flees from its axis, and that surrenders to the prison of the structure, limiting itself to actions that lock you in your own mind. Me. How do I get out of there? I am. The question is not how. The question is whether you really want to get out of there. For prison is in your mind, and longing is in your heart. Me. How do I differentiate finding freedom from leaving my purpose? Because, let's face it, all my life I have designed what I am doing now, and I know that from today there is one more year of this purpose that keeps me linked. I am. You have taken your purpose as a prison when it is your freedom. You just have to remember that you are the key and that the door to freedom is only inward. The exterior is just a projection of what you live inside. Your emotional failures are nothing more than your own failure to love yourself. The abandonment of oneself to be at the service of others. Aquarius provokes this tachycardia that makes the arrow of the enemy you have invented pierce the heart of your lover. Do you notice? You are giving yourself a message from beyond, whispering that all this only lives in your mind, that freedom does not imply leaving anything, that freedom is not abandonment. Freedom is letting go of the weight of what you do and are. Responsibility is not synonymous with carrying a weight. It is synonymous with knowing how to respond. Now answer me. Are you capable of being free? Me. It's hard for me to write it, but yes, I know I have the ability. I am. And that freedom will be questioned again and again, while on Earth at least 3 times a year. Me. How? I am. In the retrogradations of Mercury. Me. Mercury retrograde has become a mantra to explain the problems we have. I am. Mercury is a small rocky planet, the closest to the Sun. Its surface is so hot that nothing could live there. Due to its size and proximity to the star of our system, its orbit is very fast, giving about 3 to 4 laps to the Sun in the time that the Earth takes to give a single one. That is to say that its year is 88 days. Within this period, there is a time when the planet seems to be moving in the same direction as the Earth. But while the Earth continues to advance in its annual orbit, Mercury is already spinning to close its year, passing behind the Sun, giving the feeling from our point of view that the planet is walking backwards. That takes steps back to where it came from. Retro equals return. Gradus equals step. All planets do this, but Mercury is the fastest. Me. And what does this mean? I am. For the planet, nothing. But for our way of seeing the world, it means that everything this planet means to us goes back, and therefore goes backwards, becomes opposed to its purpose, awakening the negative aspects of this being. Me. So if Mercury is the planet of communication, when all communications will fail and we will not understand each other, I am. That's right. Me. And what does this have to do with my dream? I am. That you have lived exactly 2 sides of what freedom means to you. On the one hand, feel free. On the other, fight for your freedom. Retrogradation is a natural process in every cycle, circle, orbit. In every process, there is a moment of retrogradation before moving forward again. And this process is so negative and tragic that it becomes extremely positive. Me. What would that look like? I am. Well, retrogradation is equivalent to going back to the past, to reviewing all things, to reviewing situations, emotions, beliefs, attachments, expectations, thoughts, everything. It is a moment of fall, of crisis, of conflict, which goes against the purpose, and yet it is what makes you rethink the forms. It is what reminds you that you must review everything in order to move forward in a spiral without it becoming a meaningless straight line. Remember that what moves in a straight line loses all its inertial force, and what moves in circles, ellipses, and spirals recovers greater strength in each turn. At every turn of the corner. Me. Oh, I understand. It makes sense. That is why it is in crises where we understand and grow the most. I am. And Mercury is the master at making us practice this 3 times a year. 1 for our body, 1 for our soul, and 1 for the spirit. Mercury is then the messenger who brings the consciousness of the sun and takes our examination in each of its turns. Me. His words are heard in the wind, leaving his messages to anyone who will hear them. Like a bird, it soars the skies, like an arrow. Near the sun, he becomes its spokesman, communicating its truths. But why does this planet carry this concept and name? I am. Mercury is the planet that revolves the fastest around the sun, and it is the planet that seems to leave the sun and return to it with greater agility. For the ancient Indo-Europeans and peoples of the Middle East, this light in the sky was Nabu, the messenger, scribe of the god Marduk. All cultures named this world, this wandering star, as the messenger of the sun god, for his ability to move, carrying his messages and returning to him with the answers. For humans, its speed is what made it take the name of all those who had the skill of being messengers or merchants, travelers who sold and bought, who carried the news from one town to another. In ancient times, messengers used to be street vendors, merchants who sold their wares in markets, where people learned all the news of the kingdom or empire. There people talked with merchants and spread what was happening throughout the territory. Therefore, the Romans called this god as the merchant, from the Latin merx, mercies, merchant, with which the Etruscan denomination for a subject, ius, rius, ended up being known as Mercurius, me. So the name of the god is more of a description. I am. Just like the Greek god Hermes, his equal. Hermes is how the Greeks knew Mercury, Nabu, from the Greek word herma, which means milestone, a cluster of stones that indicate a path. Thus, the milestones indicated where to go to the merchants and messengers, with which the Heromes was the spirit or protector of the messengers and walkers. Me. The god Hermes is Thoth to the Egyptians, Jahut to the ancient Atlanteans. Not a god, but a high priest. I am. Jahut was an Atlantean, yes, teacher, architect, doctor, mathematician, astronomer, a sage who summarized the universe in few patterns, such as geometry and universal laws, which we have already seen in other previous months. Because he was the master of writing, his symbol became the emblem of all scribes and messengers, those who had the wisdom to advise the gods themselves. Therefore, this planet was placed, the attributes of these wise men of the earth, showing that when this planet made its rapid cycles, it brought us with it its messages of transformation and constant revision. Me. This is the planet messenger, the planet of wisdom. I am. It is the planet that brings questions and answers, that makes you discover the truths of the cosmos and then question them. His presence, walking in the same direction, will make you discover the importance of learning, of knowing, of communicating, of finding the truth, of studying, of reading and writing, developing, designing, building, shaping through interaction. It is the planet of technology, of constant innovation, flying fast through the air like Aquarius. But when it goes against your direction, it will be the one who makes you doubt everything you know, say, design, read, write, learn. It is the one who will break the built and disarticulate the technology, preventing you from innovating without first reviewing what you have done so far. Me. And this review will affect each of us in a different way, but putting us forward 3 times a year and going backwards 3 times more. I am. 6 moments. Your human year will be divided into the 6 aspects of Mercury, an inner trinity and an outer trinity. The outer trinity will lead you to manifest through form, sound, and light, while the inner trinity will lead you to review your wisdom, your love, and your will. Me. This is what we had been told a while ago, isn't it? I am. That's right. Our first planetary connection appointment will be this August 22nd, 2021. So, starting today, each of the remaining months, we will have to especially align one of these attributes every 22nd day. Me. February 22nd, wisdom. March 22nd, love. April 22nd, will. May 22nd, form. June 22nd, sound. July 22nd, light. I am. And so Mercury has given us its task, to build the great Merkaba of all those who are on the net. So, today begins the first exam, revising our wisdom. Me. How will we do it? I am. Just let yourself hear the message. Mercury has ceased to retrograde, and today it returns with all its strength. Let the message reach you, and from today until March 22nd, wisdom must be rethought step by step. Me. I am the messenger and the message. All the beings I am speak through me. I am. The message of the gods lives in you. The way to hear them is singing your song, pronouncing your words. Say it, and their voices will sound in you. Me. I am.